Good afternoon, everyone. So, I hope you have read two important articles today, right? I think I have unmuted. Right. So, sometimes UPSC have a tendency to throw some kind of questions. One is dynastic politics or hereditary politics. So, if you see this article, Amit Shah is saying that Jammu and Kashmir is now free from families or dynastic families. So, again, if we clearly understand Article 370, Article 370 is supposed to be a bridge between India and Jammu and Kashmir. That was the original intention of Jammu and Kashmir. So it was an instrument, but it has been institutionalized. And who are the biggest beneficiaries of all these institutions? These dynastic politic families are the separatists. So only 3 or 4 families perennially got the benefits out of this institutionalization of the Article 370. Now there are two schools of thought. One school of thought is like whenever there is institutionalization of something, okay, we have to use brute force, okay, to change the status quo ante. Or the other one is going through constitutional mechanisms. If you observe carefully, Article 370 was diluted in a very sketchy fashion. You cannot 100% claim it as a constitutional, it's subjudice. So, but even by the normal standards also, Article 370 was diluted in a very haphazard fashion or in a overnight fashion. If we actually believe in constitution, if we give more time to the Jammu and Kashmir to create consensus, awareness, then they themselves will ask, one of the provisions to dilute Article 370 is taking permission from Jammu and Kashmir Assembly. Okay, Jammu and Kashmir Assembly has to say it's okay for us to dilute Article 370. For us to build that kind of consensus, all the Jammu and Kashmir citizens should accept it's good for us. Then the MLA should understand. Then the Assembly should pass a resolution for the same. So this is long-term constitutional building and consensus building, right? But if the people who are dominating the Assembly themselves were dynastic politics, okay, for them status quo is better. For them, status quo is better. They don't want to dilute or they don't want to give up that privileged position. Okay, so what will happen because of all these things? The consensus building will never happen. So even if you wait for 150 years, okay, probably Jammu and Kashmir Assembly will not pass a resolution saying it's okay to remove Article 370. So that is one school of thought, like consensus building. The other one is the present establishment, which believes, we know the reality. All idealism aside, even if you wait for next 75 years also, this is not going to happen. What is the only recourse? Using brute force mechanisms. Okay, smartly what did they do? First they implemented the governor rule, then president rule, then they said concurrence of governor is equal to concurrence of assembly. Okay, so governor is appointed by whom? The government. I mean, the governor is appointed by the government. Government wanted what? Yes. Governor said what? Yes. Article 370 is technically diluted. They did not do any illegal activity, right? So governor is equal to assembly. That's the only lacuna in the entire thing. Okay, is it right or wrong? Again, there are different schools of thoughts. For example, if you go purely by constitutional, I told you, if you open a door in a democracy, okay, back door especially, right, it can be misused or abused in the future cases also. For example, let's say West Bengal, hypothetical, again this is pure hypothetical. West Bengal government is not listening to the central government. What will central government do? First it will apply the governor rule or president rule, then it will say Kolkata is a union territory, or we have created a separate state. Concurrence of the governor is equal to concurrence of the assembly. A new state has been created overnight, right? So that means you should not give more power to the or more power for interpretation to the constitutional bodies. Okay, so only time will tell whether it was a right move or the wrong move, right? One thing is historical baggage. Nobody will blame Nehru. Yes or no? The favorite pastime of Sai Deepak is bashing Nehru. Probably, unfortunately, he will not have more opportunities. From now on, whatever will happen is the present government's credit or liability. Right? Next, he also mentioned something yesterday. It is a bitter pill to swallow. Lockdown is a bitter pill to swallow. See, all these things very clearly say that they don't have. See, he is a pragmatist. I give him that much. Okay. At the same time, pragmatism and constitutionalism don't go hand in hand. Bitter pill. If something happens in Gujarat, do you have the courage to impose lockdown in Gujarat for 1 week? You understand, right? If bitter pill is acceptable, bitter pill should be given everywhere. Do you have that kind of courage? No. Right? Yes or no? It depends. Only time will tell. But the thing is, a constitutional body himself saying, all these are bitter pills, where there is a clear-cut Supreme Court judgment of Anuradha Bhasin versus Union of India. One constitutional body not upholding the constitutional values of Constitution. So all these things have to be understood. Again, these are all purely from umbrella of Constitution. I am standing under the Constitution. I don't have any affection or hatred towards Amit Shah. It's purely constitutional point of view. Okay, personal opinion is totally different. What you think as a UPSC aspirant is more important. Constitution says this. Next, China's new law formalizes its LAC. There was an article by Sushant Singh recently, Friday, I think. What was his name? Some Singh, right? Sushant Singh only. Modi article, below Modi article, there was an article. I think it was Sushant Singh only. Yes. Sorry. That is finance minister article. The next day, Subramania Swamy, after the same place, there was an article, Prime Minister Modi's article. So he was saying the same thing, right? LAC have its own vested interest. Line of People Liberation of Army of China has its own vested interest to maintain the status quo ante. Just like the institutionalization of Kashmir, even for China also, status quo is very favorable. It does not want to settle the boundary issue with China. Now it is legalizing all the actions done by our Chinese army in the Ladakh border. So it shows that there is a political capital investment by the Chinese in dealing with the Indian issue. They are happy with the prolonging the issue. Two things have to be noticed. In spite of all these things, for the first time, we have reached a 100 billion trade. India and China are having a $100 billion trade between us, in spite of all these things. Okay, so Chinese are not actually feeling the heat. Only when will you feel some pain? When the trade comes drastically down. See, the trade is imbalanced, right? We don't have trade surplus. We have trade deficit. And when we are doing $100 billion trade, the deficit is more towards India. India is having a lot of losses. So Chinese are happy. So they're happy to maintain the status quo with the land issue. They're happy to maintain the trade imbalance. So both are in favor of them. So what should India do? India should pressurize the Chinese to come to the discussion table for permanent settlement of boundary issue. That should be the first clause. If you and I should talk, then the first clause is permanent settlement. The second clause is Atmanirbhar Bharat. Okay, not for negotiation. India should work on Atmanirbhar Bharat. The more we start creating the goods, Chinese alternative goods, the better. And I think FICCI or someone, CCI, they have listed out 400 or 600 topics or 600 items which we are importing from China. And most of them can be produced within India. So that will also hurt the Chinese trade. Right? So these should be the important aspects. Freedom of speech and expression. Yes. Again, here problem is human nature. Always remember, it's always human nature. Nobody does anything purely for Hinduism's sake. Nobody does anything only for purely Hinduism's sake. If you actually have that much love and affection for Hinduism, you will preach Bhagavad Gita without any cost. That is the only thing you will do. Everything else, I think, has a lot of vested interest. Okay. So here also, the name of the web series that they are trying to create is Ashram. Okay, so there is a group of followers who belong to a particular religious preacher going by the similar name. Okay, he's in jail. He's in the jail because he committed all kind of activities with the believers. Okay, criminal activities. So they come and they beat you up because they use a label protection of Hinduism. They are using the term Hindu sentiments. In actually, they are doing that work for a particular vested individual. Okay, but they are taking the entire name of Hinduism. That is how you give bad name to the entire religion. Yes or no? So don't do anything with vested interest in the name of religion. Nobody appointed you as a representative of entire Hinduism. Hinduism is much broader, bigger than any of us. Yes or no? So all these things bring bad name to the right-wing sections of the society. Again, right-wing sections of the society actually do a lot of things. Two things: right-wing and Hinduism are not same. Hinduism by default is not right-wing. Hinduism per se is very, very liberal, center, right? For example, Bajrang Dal, BHP are right. If you take Ramakrishna Ashram Mutt, okay, Ramakrishna Ashram, or a lot of religious organizations, all these are very central, very liberal. They are there for the welfare of the people. They take a lot of activities. With using the name of religion, if you go to the extreme right, Bajrang Dal, BHP, vested interest. Recently, I think there was a honor killing in Karnataka, right? So a person from Hindu community and Muslim community were in love, and the girl's parents gave money to the right-wing sections of the society to behead him. Okay, so they did not do it for the love of religion; they did it for money. Yes or no? So all these things happen with one kind of vested interest. So please don't misunderstand Hinduism as a right. All religions are more or less center. Extremism of any religion is right or left. Okay. So simple but effective articles. Technology is a solution to a lot of problems in the governance. So what is it? Punjab uses tech against illicit brewing. Yes. And it's not something new, but almost all PDS delivery vehicles have GPS systems. That means if a truck is leaving from the godown of Food Corporation of India, it is supposed to reach Bengaluru, right? They will calculate the time taken. If the truck is stopping for a huge amount of time in any one particular area, you can understand that there is some golmaal happening. There is some kind of corruption that is happening. So GPS technology leads to a lot of efficiency. Here also they are using the similar kind of GPS positioning for identifying illicit liquor, right? So that's a good thing. So how technology can promote governance or good governance? Such kind of examples in essay or GS paper, you can throw this heading. In Punjab recently, Excise Department is using technology. Don't remember the project name, technical details, and all those things. The core concept is technology will help you promote better governance. As simple as that. Okay. The best article of the day. It's a really fantastic article. I will encourage you to store all the keywords, save the keywords, and you can use them freely in your GS papers, better than editorials. And as all of you know, Maria Ressa is a person, she won Nobel Peace Prize this year. Okay, that too for a journalist. Sorry. When citizens are manipulated on social media, they distrust everything. So here we can also bring in George Orwell. George Orwell is a very famous writer. He wrote books called Animal Farm 1984, right? So what she's trying to see, you should understand the context. In Philippines, there was a leader, right? She rightly uses the word, what was that word? I forgot. Digital authoritarians. She rightly uses the word digital authoritarians. For example, Duterte, this person. He recently retired from the politics. Okay. Duterte. He was the Philippines prime minister or president. Okay. He was a person who was elected using this social media campaigning. Okay. He was a very popular figure, right? So he has a lot of believers. So societies were divided into two. You believe in him, you don't believe in him. There is no one person like I like him and I dislike him. You should be either in this camp or that camp. There is no in between camp. So you can understand Donald Trump also comes into the same picture, right? Donald Trump and so many right-wing authoritarian leaders throughout the world comes under this format. Bolsonaro of Brazil. Yes, I hope you understand. So what he has done is he has started a campaign against drugs. Okay, just like the first discussion of the day, he was one of those people who believed that constitutional mechanisms are no longer working. Right? We should take the law and order into brute force method. Only then the systems will get rectified. What is the problem? If you see in Uttar Pradesh also right now, after the present chief minister is in power, encounters have increased. Yes or no? More than 180 plus encounters have happened in the last few years. Did it actually solve the problem or did it protect the politicians is a whole different scenario. There was some Pandey or someone, he was arrested. Okay, he was probably the only person who was arrested in the recent times in Uttar Pradesh. Okay, and while he was taken to the court, in the middle of the journey, he was encountered because he was trying to escape. One person trying to escape the police force. You can understand, right? So in Philippines also what happened? He started a campaign against drugs, severe encounters. Okay, a lot of encounters have been started. What is the problem with that? Collateral damage will always be there. Some innocents might also be killed. Yes, law and order is violated. So every time you take the brute force method, it will have stringent outcomes. Okay, then these journalists started attacking him. Okay, according to the common public, what will they think? He's doing something good. After a long time, somebody is coming and taking the charge against the drugs. What do you have a problem with? It's a very common story, right? Somebody is doing something good. He might be using a brute force method. What is your problem there? So campaign is people who support him and people who hate him for the same. Okay, and people attack these kind of journalists because they are bringing the truth to the front. Okay, a journalist is a neutral person. He's supposed to have some values. What if he's doing something good? They will report it, or they should report it. If he is doing something bad, it's their responsibility to report that also. Okay, stop is not possible, right? We have to inform them. Then the public or moral pressure will be created against them. If we don't do this, okay, if I don't read Hindu paper, what will happen? What is my primary source of information? Before, I mean, if I don't have the time to read newspaper, what is my primary source of information? Social media, WhatsApp are your relatives. Where do they get their primary information from? Social media, Facebook or TV. That means everybody is manipulated. You will hear a second-hand information. Yes or no? That means everybody with a vested interest will have a lot of influence. She writes a big, you can actually literally see all these things in India if you have the right mindset. 26 fake accounts could reach up to 3 million users. Okay, see, the problem with the brute force methods or mechanisms or that kind of ideology has only one simple flaw. That is, to bring the worst out of human nature does not need speciality. Yes or no? Have you recently seen a Punjab minister beating an innocent bystander video on social media? Right? Have you ever seen a street accident or something like that? Yes, you must have seen a group of people gathered, right? If one person started beating someone, what will happen? Everyone will, join the group, right? Why does that happen? It's a basic human instinct. Yes or no? That's where this article is fantastic. We have Paleolithic emotions, medieval institutions, and godlike technology. Yes or no? Even though Harari also says the same thing. Harari also says the same thing, right? Why do you like, the fast foods, or why do you like Maggie so much? Have you ever observed the Maggie powder? When you cut that Maggie powder, you just dump it, right? Masala, that Maggie masala. Did you observe what is there in that? Sugar and salt. There is sugar in Maggie. There is salt in Maggie. You take any popular food items like KFC, McD, chips, kurkure, everything. They have only two major ingredients. One is sugar and salt. Why? You are the most primitive animal ever. Yes or no? Human is an animal. It's a primitive animal. For thousands of years, our DNA is coded to salt and sugar. They are not abundant in the market. They are not abundant in the nature. Sugar is not abundant in nature. Salt is not abundant in nature. It's a rare thing. Whenever your tongue tastes sugar or salt, it goes to a new high. You crave for it. Even after thousands of years of evolution, you still have the same craving because we are emotional. We are emotional to the core. Okay, that is where the smart, fast food centers dominate you. I hope you understand. Again, I'm not saying this out of my whims and fancies. I'm not being emotional. Okay, this is purely scientific, right? So mob mentality is a very common thing. The need to mimic someone is very relevant. For example, if a pickpocketer is found, 10 people are beating him, right? If your baser instinct is to replicate the others, or else they might judge you that for not being a moral person. Okay, you don't feel like beating him, but still you will join subconsciously. So all these things happen very subconsciously. Let's say, for example, within this class, if I make a joke, okay, sometimes they are very easy, sometimes they are subtle. Okay, you laugh. Some people laugh, some people don't laugh. Okay, then you try to mimic everyone. You observe your own reactions. You, even if you don't understand, you will try to mimic them. Why? You might feel that others might judge me for being dumb. Right? So these are the basic things, human emotions. In the same way, anger is a very powerful tool. Yes or no? I don't need facts. I don't need logic. All I need is a statement. Yes or no? For example, yesterday India-Pakistan match. Yes or no? Commercialization of sport. Your pure base instinct of hatred towards a particular country is more than enough for me to commercialize it to the next level. Yes or no? Swiggy is running a campaign. Domino's is running a campaign. Everybody is running a campaign. There's a match. Get this food. Eat that food. They have no loyalty towards that particular sport or whatsoever. But their vested interest is to sell more. Okay. But normal people, they don't have, again, I don't want to blame them, but most people don't have any other purpose in life, right? They're happy to be persuaded by the market forces. Even if you don't watch normal cricket also, India-Pakistan match, you come and watch. Why? Tomorrow there is a cooler talk. We need to discuss something at the coolers, water cooler. Yes or no, in the office. Or else everybody will think I am not patriotic. I didn't watch it. In the today morning, I saw Hindu, okay, India last. Fine. If I'm worried that somebody will judge my patriotism just because I don't watch a cricket match, then I'm not at all being patriotic. Yes or no? So what she's trying to tell you is, if I own social media companies, TV, and set of influencers, that's all I need to run a country. Yes or no? That's all I need to run a country. And that is exactly what is happening in majority of the countries. That is exactly what is happening in majority of the countries. If you see post-COVID in Brazil, there is a huge campaign for the present president to be removed. Bolsonaro to be removed. But it didn't happen as of yet. Okay. Why? He controls a lot of social media influence. In India, you can take the similar example. Go out there, try your luck, try to comment something against Prime Minister Modi in any chat platform or in any comment section. If you are not attacked 100 times more ferociously, right, then you have some chance. So I'm not saying that he's willingly doing all these things, but the social media campaignings have created a whole new narration. Nobody talks about petrol prices, right? Or nobody's actually talking about antibodies. So I might sound like, see, whenever I attack a policy, it feels like I'm attacking that person. Even if you see Hindu, FATF, Hindu is blaming India a lot. Like you are not actually making most out of the FATF. So people assume that Hindu is anti-government, but its arguments are very valid, right? Let's say there is a term called as Pyrrhic victory, PHYRIC, Pyrrhic, PHYRRIC, Pyrrhic victory. Pyrrhic victory. What is Pyrrhic victory? Let's say tomorrow Dawood Ibrahim has been handed over to India. When did he attack Mumbai? 1990. When was he handed? 2021. Okay. So after 20 years, he enjoyed all the luxuries in the world. Now that he's 70 plus, he's useless to the Pakistan. If it is handling over to Dawood Ibrahim to you, what will you do? Yes, it's a victory, no doubt. Isn't it a Pyrrhic victory? That means a victory which is too late. Yes or no? The same with what was his name? Jaish-e-Mohammed.
Masood Azhar.
Masood Azhar. The same case, right? Hijack happened in 1990s. We are in 2021. He enjoyed all his life. Now he is useless to Pakistan. It is putting on him under house arrest. All of you know the meaning of house arrest, right? Full AC, everything will be provided. You are a state unofficial guest. So, so what she is trying to tell you is, once I bring this narration into the mainstream market, I can manipulate anything. For example, 2 rupee per tweet. Yes or no? 2 rupee per tweet. If you want to trend a particular thing on Twitter, I will pay you. The huge social media armies will be there. I will pay 2 rupees per person. For every tweet you are tweeting, I will give you 2 rupees. He doesn't even understand what he is tweeting. He will just retweet. For that, he will get 2 rupees. We assume that, you know, so many people are supporting a particular incident. So all these things are not democracy. So what she's trying to tell you is global collaboration should happen. Only when global collaboration happens, just like after the World War I, United Nations have been created, Human Rights Council have been created. Yes, it protected the human rights. You can argue negatively also, but more or less global peace is held by UN. In the same way, from the post-truth world, if the world has to be saved by all these digital dictators, we have to have a global consensus on how to fight fake news, hate news. Algorithms have to be regulated. Who are the bigger villains in all this drama? Facebook and Twitter. So if we can regulate them globally and apply the same standards to any social media platform that is going to come in future also, the world might become a better place, right? So that's the very interesting dimension she tries to bring into this article. Right. So again, in Twitter or Facebook, I cannot comment anything. For example, see, not only Modi, if you take Mamata Banerjee, a professor shared a morphed photo. He was thrown in the jail. Right. If you post anything, I told you, in Uttar Pradesh also, a reporter went.
Kerala.
No, Kannappa, not Kannappa. In Uttar Pradesh, a midday meal program was happening. Okay. Children were given yellow color liquid, dal, and salt. Just imagine, instead of curry, they were given salt and yellow color dal and rice. Okay. He took a video and that video became viral. He was arrested by the Uttar Pradesh government. The reason being, he's a print journalist. Why was he taking video? Okay. So I'm not making this stuff. You know, I'm not even, he's a print journalist. That means he should only write. He should not take videos. That was his crime. Okay. So you get it, right? If I post anything against Yediyurappa, probably I will be arrested. Earlier in Karnataka or against Jagan in Andhra Pradesh. So that means the same things are being applied throughout. If you observe the election of the Jagan versus TDP also, it was the same social media campaigning. Prashant Kishore is to be blamed for India's misuse of all these things. Yes or no? Social media has been weaponized by these private companies, PR companies. They will come and they will project you like anything, and people will carry forward that hatred. Okay. Especially before elections. Unfortunately, in 2024, we have this Uttar Pradesh elections, right? You will see all-time high communal. Oh, sorry, to next year, right? So all-time high communalization will happen before the UP elections also. So these kind of things should be reduced only using global collaboration. Facebook and Twitter has to be reined. They have to be controlled. Luckily, we have the supporting article. Yes. The heroes. Frances Hogan. She's a whistleblower. She is the person who came out of Facebook and she brought all the internal discussions of Facebook to the front. What was the discussion? The discussion is Facebook is very aware that it is being used as a hate speech tool, okay, especially against Muslims, and who are doing that is also aware to the Facebook. So in spite of knowing all these things, Facebook has not actually taken any stringent actions against the spread of hate. If you see Myanmar, in Myanmar, Rohingya Muslims were killed. The amplification of violence happened because of Facebook. There, the Myanmar's army, they used Facebook, not people. Myanmar army used Facebook for creating a propaganda against the Rohingyas. Then it started a ethnic cleansing campaign. Just imagine the power of social media tools. Okay, so social medias are becoming so powerful that they can start ethnic cleansing, violence against someone, character assassination. For example, Sushant Singh Rajput case. What was her name? Riya Chakravarti, right? Her character is totally assassinated. Right now, if you take in the case of Shah Rukh Khan, the officer who is investigating that, he's also being, his character is being assassinated. So that means all these tools happen only because of social media and the uncontrolled power to social media. So they should be reined in. Only then we can have some kind of solution. Okay. I think she has one more line. Algorithmic amplification, right? That is exactly the criticism given by the whistleblower of Facebook. Is this algorithmic amplification? I told you, right? If you watch a particular hero or heroine's photo for a few seconds, okay, Google now, all of you have Google now, I assume. When you scroll through the news, okay, if you stop at a particular person, or if you Google through 2 or 3 items of a particular incident, okay, from then on Google will keep on showing you the same things or about the same hero or heroine or any other celebrity. So how does Google know that? Algorithmic amplification. This person likes photos of this individual, so keep showing them again and again. If second time, if the confirmation is given, second time also you have spent more time watching his or her videos, okay, the third time it will make a part and parcel of your search. So algorithmic amplification is not a wrong thing, but the thing is, if I hate, let's say, a particular community or a group or an individual, even then the algorithmic amplification will also happen for the same things. Every time I will be getting the same kind of feeds. That will only amplify my hate rather than reduce. And these low lives who work for 2 rupees, 3 rupees, what will they do? They started creating new content, right? Yes. And it's empirically proved. There was this very famous fake news. It traveled like 3-4 million people have been reached. Then someone identified it's a fake news and gave the true story. Okay, the truth was retweeted only 3,000 times or 4,000 times, whereas fake news was tweeted 3 lakh times. Yes. See, sometimes you do all these things unknowingly. There was a famous video. A bear cub is there. It falls from the, what we call, the valley. A bear cub and a bear, the bear will be on the top, the cub will be on the slope. Okay, the baby is trying to come up. After a lot of struggle, it climbs up. Okay, so actually when the first initial video came, everybody shared it very happily, but later on they realized a drone is chasing that cub, shooting that video. So it scaled the cub and the cub fell into the slope. Okay, so that is the entire picture of the story. We see only perseverance and all these motivational videos, okay, but we don't see the whole story. Yes, sir. I hope you understand. So you can clearly see the video in the first time itself. The mother is very scared. It keeps on looking towards the camera. That means it was worried about the baby. It's a drone. Drone is not something natural, right? For the predator, it's a scary thing. Clear? No. Both are safe, but that incident wouldn't have happened if the drones were used in a more ethical fashion. That is exactly what she tries to say here also. The tech companies should have values. If the tech companies don't have values, right? If they work only for profits, then it won't change a lot of things. Right? All of you know deep fakes, right? Deep fake. What is deep fake? Have you ever heard about deep fake? No?
Manipulation tools.
Mm-hmm.
In reality, I would be saying something else,
Hmm.
but it can be so beautifully manipulated that it would look so credible for the other person watching that I said something else.
Okay, so it's an algorithmic software, kind of software editor. What it does is it takes Obama's videos which are available openly on net. 40-50 Obama videos will be taken, then he will speak different words at different incidents, right? All those videos will be very nicely mixed. Then if you type certain keywords, it will look like Obama has actually said something which he never does. Okay, that is the power of AI. You can Google it also after the class. Deep fake Obama, you will understand that particular thing. The problem is, if by reading articles, if people are so motivated, so people are so angry and hate each other, you just imagine tomorrow Rahul Gandhi, there is a deep fake video of Rahul Gandhi saying something against Hindus. The population won't even have the discretion to understand what is right, what is wrong. I think in 2019 or 20 Delhi elections, there was a deep fake. For the first time, deep fake has been used in Delhi elections in India. The hate can be amplified. Luckily, it's not so prevalent, but when deep fake hits Indian shores, I'm sure there will be a whole new kind of drama. Right. See, because the value system of this article is very nice. You can use a lot of keywords from this article. Yes, and it makes a huge amount of difference in your understanding of whatever is happening in Indian society. Manipulate media, and you can manipulate most of the things.
Or GS3 side.
This one you can use in society. GS1, 2 governance also for regulating the social media companies.
4 ethics.
4 technical ethics or ethical values. 3 also law and order security. Right, in all the GS papers it can be used, even in essays also. As I was saying, this was the editorial I was mentioning, right? Financial Action Task Force, that Pakistan is still under the grey list. Not only Pakistan, recently Turkey has also been placed under grey list. It's a good thing in a way. So Turkey won't do any kind of misadventures as of now. Now, what is Hindu trying to say? Pakistan, first of all, Pakistan is saying India has weaponized the particular political forum for political targeting. So as an Indian, I'm very proud of diplomatic achievement. Like we are able to get such kind of pressure on Pakistan. So it shows India's rising clout and influence in international politics forums. Okay. Next, are we misusing it? Are we? Is Pakistan a good country that we are trying to project as a bad country? No, Pakistan is a bad country, which is showed for what it is. So I don't think there is any kind of manipulation from Indian perspective. Okay. Next. What is a failure? The failure is Financial Action Task Force is doing a lot of good things, but it is not actually pressurizing on the key areas. So that is what Hindu editorial is saying. Now, 2 things. India has an immediate vested interest. Jaish-e-Mohammed, Lashkar-e-Taiba, all these are directly targeted towards India, whereas Al-Qaeda and ISIS are targeted towards the rest of the world. So world is not feeling the same pain that India is feeling. 26/7, 26/11 or hijack and all these things are Indian pains. So that is why India is proactively following up with the FATF. Whereas the rest of the countries are not so invested in Pakistan's suffocation, right? So that is why they are giving kind of breathing space. So what should be done? that Pakistan should not even have that breathing space. Only then the world will have a better condition. And the timing is perfect for India to argue this also. As Taliban, if you see Taliban in Nation page or somewhere, they are giving food for work. Yes or no? International page, I think. Taliban is about to go bankrupt. They don't have money, they don't have food, they don't have electricity. Occupying the country is easy. Running a country is very difficult. So you need international cooperation, recognition, welfare. A lot of activities has to be done. So if they don't have money, what will they do? They will obviously go for terrorism or trafficking and all the black marketing activities. Who will support them? Pakistan. So if we suffocate Pakistan right now, then automatically Taliban will heed to the international pressure. So that is one argument. Break Taliban and Pakistan chain so that Taliban will open up the Afghanistan. Yesterday or day before yesterday, you must have seen a volleyball player have been beheaded by the Taliban. A volleyball women team player, that person was beheaded because she is playing sports. So they don't change this barbaric activity. So the only way is to suffocate them and let them open the Afghanistan. And we can use the same weapon as to control the Pakistan. What do you think? Do you think Prime Minister Modi will announce a new net zero emission target? Will India go for net zero emission targets? Is there a chance?
No, I don't think so.
Right, so if there is proper deal that the developed nation would provide us funds.
They'll more emphasize on differentiated responsibility.
Who? India.
India.
Who is willing to listen? See, almost all the major nations have come to the consensus of net zero. Almost all the major nations which have actually some influence, except India, has already come to a consensus of net zero. India is the only outlier. India is the only outlier of a major country. All the small island nations, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Bhutan, they don't even have a voice at the international level. So my guess is probably Prime Minister might announce net zero on a voluntary basis, as pointed out in the other article also. Maybe 2070, 2080. We might keep a very high target and announce it. Yes, announcement is free, right? What do we do? Announcement is free. We can announce anything. And it's also a historical record that during Prime Minister Modi's time, India announced net zero emissions. One more feather in the cap. Okay. Now, what is the problem? You have to understand the crux of this article. He is very right in saying a lot of good things. Okay. The most important thing is carbon budget. What is carbon budget?
I didn't understand that.
See, understand it very simply. Don't go into technical terms. Pre-industrial time, during 1850, the temperature is, let's say, 0 degrees. Theoretically, assume 0 degrees. 1850, your temperature is 0 degrees. 2021, we will reach 2 degrees. So the 2 degree gap from 1850 to 2021 is average temperature was 25 degrees in 1850. Right now, the average temperature will hit 27 degrees. So what is IPCC saying? 25 plus 1.5. 26.5 is the maximum you can go. Okay. If we cross 26.5, all kind of disasters will happen. 27 is
Done.
No coming back. So be very careful. Now, the world has already almost reached 1.3 or 1.4 degrees. Okay, 1.3 or 1.4 degrees. So the base was 25. Now we are at 26.2. Okay, so we can go till 27 max. After that, it's a disaster. But going by our present consumptions, we might actually hit 3 or 4 degrees. That means we will hit 28 or 29. Okay, so I'm hoping this scenario will be true, right? Okay.
Hoping, sir. Hoping or predicting, sir?
Oh, sorry. I'm predicting. Okay, inner voice, right? Okay. So the problem we have to understand here is from 1.3, let's say we are at 1.3, 1.3 to 2, we still have 0.7 degrees. To reach that 1.7 degrees, okay, we can release this much amount of carbon dioxide. We can release, let's say, 100 kgs of carbon dioxide. I hope you understand. To reach that 0.7 gap, we can only release 100 kgs of carbon dioxide. If I release more than 100 kgs, we are going to definitely cross 7 degrees, the 0.7 degrees in our example. Okay, this 100 kgs of carbon dioxide is not for one country. Everybody, that is the carbon budget. Okay, accumulated the entire planet can release only 100 more kgs of carbon dioxide. If it releases more than 100 kgs of carbon dioxide, we are going to cross the 2 degrees. Okay, now who are in a position to release these 100 kgs? Developed nations again. For example, China, USA. If they release more, okay, theoretically, they are releasing less than what they used to release. Okay, but collectively, we are breaching the 100 kg mark. Who is going to lose?
Everybody.
Small islands and least developing and developing nations. So that is the magic of this net zero targets. So it appears like they are actually working on the reduction of overall targets, but the gap of 0.7 degrees or 0.8 degrees is very limited. We have, I think he has mentioned, right, 50 gigatons. Yes, the cumulative emissions based on INDCs would likely use up 89%. Okay, out of the 100 kgs available for us, 89 is already used. Okay, so the rest is 11%. 11 is equal to how much in reality terms? 55 gigatons of carbon dioxide. So entire planet can collectively release only 55 gigatons more carbon dioxide. Who is going to release it is the entire discussion, right? So 55 tons can be released by collectively all of us. I hope you understood the analogy and the simple example. It's a very simple thing. Net zero, is it true? Yeah. America is reducing the emissions. America is also capturing a lot, but America is still releasing a huge amount of CO2. How much budget do we have? 55 gigatons. Who is releasing? America, Japan, China. China might be the most abusive of all. So in theory, they are reducing, but collectively we are failing. What will happen after the 2 degrees? Anything can happen. For example, new viruses might be released by the thawing of the ice frost. Yes or no? Mammals have died because of a new bug or a new virus. They are buried under the ice. Now ice will melt. The carcasses will come out. A new virus might also come onto the planet. No? You can imagine all the kind of worst case scenarios. Sahara might get heavy rainfalls. Yes, anything can happen. It's not like, we can only expect this to happen. Why do you think cyclones are increasing in Arabian Sea? Yes or no? Because of climate change, flash floods. All these things are increasing because of climate change. I used to say, right, monsoon is the de facto finance minister of the country. If monsoon become erratic, what will happen? Economy will collapse. So all these things are linked to the climate change. Then we will have climate refugees. That is a new ethical problem. Yes or no? Climate refugees. All these small islands will be submerged under the water. Where will they go? Bangladesh. Let's say you have a land in Goa. Goa is submerged under the sea. Where will the Goan citizens go?
Karnataka.
Will they accept? I used to have a very posh building in Goa. Who will compensate? I lost my livelihood. Who will compensate? Yes, Uttarakhand is based on tourism. If there is a landslide and flash floods every other day, do you go for Kedarnath, Badrinath Yatra? Yes or no? Tourism will drop. Then what will happen to all those people?
They'll migrate.
Where? It depends. You understand, right? Bangladesh, the bordering areas will be under the water. Small islands, Mauritius, Maldives, Lakshadweep, Andaman. You can understand the catastrophe. So because of all these things, the world has to come direction. We should seriously work on the 2030 target. What are we doing? We are bypassing the 2030 targets to 2050. So humans always believe, right? By that time we will survive. Okay, but the cost of survival will be very high. So that is the crux of this article. It's a very nice article. One more thing is net zero is a, it's a show which will reduce the burden on the developed nations. For example, common but differential responsibilities were much better. Why? America has grown. America is a superpower. China is a superpower. It has used a lot of fossil fuels. It has released a lot of carbon dioxide. So it's responsibility on China and America to help the developed and developing nations. Okay, how? Through finances and through technological assistance. Net zero is, it's a burden again on the developing and developed nations. If you promise net zero, it's your burden to work on those also. Clear? Green debt is one more problem. In the name of financial transfers, we are creating more debt problems. So nobody is actually worried about the planet. Okay, so that is why I sincerely hope 2050 will happen. Only then we will learn. The planet will.
Then there will be no use.
Why?
Learning so late.
What is the answer?
I don't intend to survive 2050, right? It's not like the planet should survive. That's what I said. It's not like I will learn and I will do something. The planet should survive. Or the next generations, whichever limited number will survive, they will have that common sense not to repeat all our mistakes. Yes. We were supposed to be the primitive animal. Lucky, we got lucky and we invented ACs, right? Yes or no? If we go back to the old times, you'll understand. Now, I will tell you a simple thing. Just try and imagine, okay, that you have to create fire. Okay, with your present level of intelligence, I'm the smart person preparing for UPS and all those things. Try and create fire without using any modern invention. You try. You try. I'm not even saying stones or whatever. I'm saying try. You actually create fire. If you invest not less than 3 hours, then tell me. Okay, even after 3 hours, I think you will be very lucky to get that fire going. Yes or no? So it's a very difficult thing. Life outside the comforts is very, very difficult thing. Planet is a very brutal place. Yes or no? All those who have seen that Avatar movie, the earth is exactly like that. We got very, very lucky in so many ways. We invented cooked food, which helps us digest more in less amount of time. Our brains increased in size. So everything is a happy accident. It's not by design. Yes. And luckily, no bug was so powerful enough to kill all the population in one go. We had episodes, but not a single super powerful virus. But we are creating that scenario. We are creating super bugs. We are creating climate change. Why is all these things happening? Because of our excessive intervention. Right? And there is no other way to convince people also. Like you have to change. They don't even understand the things. See how disunited all these countries are. They know that climate is going to be severely affected. In spite of all these things, they are playing all these dramas. Why? Nobody is bothered. Again, India is not a saint in this story. India has its own destruction of nature, right? If you see Kerala, Uttarakhand, and all these things, yes. Even if you go outside of the Hyderabad, also everywhere you can see quarrying, mining, and all these things. Whatever greenery was outside Hyderabad is also being removed. So I'm not saying India is a saint. The rest are all. Everybody is equally contributing to the planet. Clear? Yes. So here the real hero is planet. When it starts taking revenge, right, then people will understand. So that is why you should get into UPSC as soon as possible. Time is less. It's running out. How many years more? 20, 50, 30, 29 years more. Yes. Any questions? Anything you didn't understand from today's discussion? So make sure you make notes out of that Maria Rasa's article. Yes, keywords should be saved and you should be using them in the mains answer writing. Whereas it comes to the glass go, we will see what Prime Minister will announce. Hopefully, he might announce net zero emissions so that the pressure on our back will be removed. But smart thing will be he will also add the clause of financial and technological transfers. So it's a city, it's a place. I think it's in Switzerland. Scotland. Glasgow is in Scotland.
So why is it this translating borders?
Which one?
It talks about Kamala Harris
Uh,
tracking borders and borders.
As I told you, the constitutionalism itself is not being implemented, right? Civil society activism or individual activism is no longer having the same kind of influence. Yes. I do understand she's a feminist. It's a nice article for society perspective, but long run, I don't think the same tools are even valid now. Yes. When is the last time you have seen an individual protest without social media self achieving anything? Those good old golden days are gone. So I was thinking about the same. Actually, probably we moved from the tyranny of majority to tyranny of individuals. Like we target one individual at a time so that we don't have a voice. And thanks to these tools, it was easy for me to attack that individuals. Let's say I want to attack Sonu Sood. Okay, it's easy for me using social media to attack that one individual. If I attack a particular community, let's say religious minority, then there are still some voices which says, minorities are being suppressed. But if I attack you at one person at one time, for example, Yogendra Yadav, the farmers bill, Yogendra Yadav, ticket. Like this, if I ping and attack the selected personalities. And unlike Gandhi, most of these people don't have that smartness or futuristic vision, right? They have their own flaws. And once they are associated with that flaw, your moral value will be diminished. Right? And second thing, amplification won't happen with the individual attention. Let's say you are doing something good, you have 25 followers, they will try to amplify. So bottom up amplification is very difficult, but top down amplification is very high. Let's say you are fighting against the state will bury your amplification with its own voice, so that moral authorities are gone. Right? Okay. See you all tomorrow then. That net zero article I will send IPCC screenshots as well, so you'll understand it better. Whatever I told you, that carbon emission, that 55 gigaton concept, you will understand it better through images.